Hello and welcome to Dominate Digital. My name's Pedro, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to set up a Facebook ad campaign from scratch. So whether you're a novice or you have some experience, hopefully you'll walk away from the video understanding the best practices and the ways in which you can go about setting up an optimized Facebook campaign. Please bear in mind, I'm simply sharing my experiences and what's worked for clients over the past couple of years that I've been running these campaigns. I'm no guru and I'm not professing that everything will work. It's simply tips and ideologies that I've managed to successfully implement myself. But before we jump into this video, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe if you're new to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest digital marketing guidance. So Facebook ad campaigns can be relatively technical, and many people believe that Facebook ads just don't work, but I don't agree. They do if set up properly. And the most important thing to remember is that testing is a really important part of the process. Without it, you're just going to be blindly targeting and likely wasting your money. So it's really important that we get this as well optimized as possible and that we're running through different testing phases so that we can kind of get a depiction of the most optimized campaign and ensure that it's as targeted as possible. We're going to be running a campaign today for a client that I've been working with for some time. They sell loaded roast potatoes. They are a takeaway, and they're wanting to get people to click on their website and place orders through there as opposed to third-party platforms such as Just Eat, Uber Eats, etc., so that they can get 100% of the revenue that's generated per sale. In this particular case, they're not actually able to track their conversions, and that's because they're using a website builder. So unfortunately, setting up events for them doesn't work in the same way that it would say for you. Now, setting up a pixel and events, it's a completely different video. It's a completely different set of skills and requirements in itself. So we'll leave that for another video. Today, we're just going to walk through the basics of setting up an optimized campaign. So let's get started. We're going to create a new campaign and we're going to select our objective. As I said, we can't track conversions, so instead we're going to click traffic as the campaign objective, and we're looking for as many link clicks to the site as possible. We'll then kind of go ahead and review the efforts afterwards. They're not really sort of sending people to the website through other means, so this will be sufficient for them. We're going to name the campaign something related to the testing variable. And the reason for this is that it's easier to keep track of kind of what we've tested based off the names of the campaigns, right? So we'll name this campaign Testing Demographics Broad versus Ideal Client. By doing so, we're going to be able to identify whether or not their perception of their ideal client is true and accurate, or if other people are interacting with that ad, and if there are any patterns that we can spot following the completion of the ad. So that's the name. We're now going to have to see whether or not we select any special ad categories. Now, this particular business doesn't fall into any of these categories, but if you are running ads based on credit, employment, or any political or social issue, you will have to declare that, okay? Housing as well. That will limit you in terms of the demographics that you're able to select and who you're able to target. Bear in mind that you may have ad sets rejected as well if you don't declare this from the start. But as I said, in this particular instance, it's not relevant. Next, it's the campaign details, the buying type. There's nothing other to select other than auction, so we'll keep auction as the buying type. And campaign objective is exactly what we want, traffic, so we'll keep that on as well. Now, you can toggle on A to B test so that you can kind of start to test out the differences in kind of your creative, so your images or your copy, so the text on the ad or the headers. But we're going to set this up in a slightly different way so that we can test out demographics and different ads at the exact same time. We're then going to set a lifetime budget. Okay, you have the option between lifetime and daily. Now, if you can keep on top of your ad and you're going to be kind of reviewing this campaign regularly, then you can select a daily budget. But in this case, we're going to select a lifetime budget so that we can let it start and finish and then review and analyze afterwards. So lifetime budget, And obviously you select that based on what you're able to afford. Bear in mind, because we're in the testing phases, it's got to be a figure that you're willing to lose. Okay, this is an investment into your learning so that eventually, once you've ran several different testing phases, you're not wasting your money. You're spending money on obtaining those clients because you already know who's interacting with your ad and what they like to see. So we're going to select that. Okay, in terms of the campaign bid strategy, we could play around with this. We could say that we want it to be cost per result, for example. So we aim for a certain cost per link click, but we want to get the highest volume, so the most results for the budget that we've set. Okay, so that's what we'll select in this instance. And then ad scheduling. Now, because they're a takeaway and they want to get sales on their website, they only want to be showing ads during hours of operation, okay? Because otherwise people are clicking on their website and they're not able to place an order. These are all things you have to think about, okay? Because it's going to end up being more expensive if you're running it all the time, as opposed to if you're running it when you're offering your product or service. So we'll keep that as running on a schedule. We've now completed the campaign level. We now have to edit the ad set level. So this is where you make your selections with regards to your demographics, your interests, and the makeup of your audience. All right, so we'll give this a name too. This is going to be a broad audience, so broad demographics is what we're testing. The conversion location is website. We're sending traffic to the website. Okay, so we're going to select that. We could turn on dynamic creatives, which would allow you to kind of have Meta make a decision on the variations that they show to people based on, say, your creatives, your headers, etc. We'll keep that turned off because we're going to manually do this ourselves. Then optimization and delivery. We're looking for link clicks. All right, so that's already correct. But if you had a landing page, you'd want to select that. If you want the ads to be seen by people as many times as possible, so say the same audience group as many times as possible, impressions would be what you select. Okay, but as I said, link clicks. We want to deliver the ads to people who are most likely to click on them. So again, we're making this as optimized as possible so we're not wasting money. Okay, so link clicks is the delivery that we want to select, and then we have to select the schedule. So when we're going to run this from a start and end date. And we're going to run this from Monday the 10th of October, and it's going to run for 2 weeks exactly, so it's going to end on the 24th. Now, those who have an eye for detail may have noticed that this ad account is set up in Pacific time. That is not the time zone of these clients, so you want to make sure when you set up your ad account, it's set up with the right settings, okay? So that means the right time zone, the right currency, etc. But I've done some research prior to this. I know that midnight, okay, as you can see here, is 8 o'clock in the morning in the UK. So we'll keep that ticked on, that's fine. 8 o'clock in the morning from the 10th to 8 o'clock in the morning on the 24th of the month. Now, we can select the times in which the ad will be seen. This again, really important because this will ensure that you're not wasting money on the dead times where people aren't ordering or not able to order. So we're going to select, say, 8 a.m. Okay, although people can't place an order at that particular time, they can from lunchtime onwards. So people seeing this ad will be able to kind of at least go on the website and have that up ready for their order. And we're going to place this until 8 p.m. at night. And the reason we're doing that is because that's when they accept their final orders. So this will run from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening. And that's a good time, that's 12 hours. The other 12 hours, the ads won't be shown, we're not wasting the money. So we'll keep that running for every day of the week between those times. And now we have to select our audience based off our demographics. So we'll start with location. Obviously I said we're going to keep this broad in terms of this particular ad set. However, we still want to obviously put the location that they're based in. They sell food, they're a takeaway, so these would be people in their catchment area. So we'll put Thetford, that's where they're based. Oh, wrong Thetford, Norfolk, and we're going to reduce this from 40 kilometers to 30. Again, just so that people who view this ad are people who, aren't too far away to come pick up or place an order. 30 kilometers is fair enough as a broad targeting option. And we're going to keep the age the same. Again, we want to see who interacts with the ad. So age will remain the same, gender will remain the same. Now, detailed targeting, we are going to select a couple, but we're going to try and make them broad. So complementary kind of interests and demographics and behaviors that match the description of this client's ideal client type. Yeah, so they are a takeaway business. So we could, for example, put fast food as an option. So anyone with an interest of fast food, as you can see, this particular example has a pool size of over 445 million people. So we can select that. Obviously, it's then going to be relative to the location we've also selected. So it won't be that whole audience size. It will be a reduced pool size of people in the area. And then also people who are in the area who have an interest in fast food. We can also select, say, Netflix. This is a complementary interest because people who are eating their fast food may be watching TV at the same time. And we want to be really careful as well not to put too many interests, okay? Because you want to be able to identify what it is that's getting people to click onto your website. And if we're putting loads of interests, we're not going to be able to identify that. It's going to be too confusing to understand what exactly got people to, to do what the objective states. So 2 interests, I think, is more than enough. You can have 3 if you want, but don't go sort of too much further than adding 2 or 3. That will get confusing and overly complicated. So we could also turn on again this setting here by Meta, which allows you to reach people beyond your targeting options if it's likely to improve performance. We always want to improve performance, so in this instance we will tick that on. We can see the audience pool size has increased, but it's defined. This is good. We've got a generous pool size here, but we now want to actually edit the placements. Again, Meta suggests that you select Advantage Plus placements, but I don't particularly like that, and I'll explain why. Because, for example, okay, if you're placing a static image as your creative, then you're not going to want to have people who are watching a video see your static image. Why? Well, because it's not relevant to what they're doing on the platform. You've got to optimize it for people's uses on the platform. You don't want to interrupt a video to show a photo, and equally you don't want to show a video that's landscape to someone on a reel because it's not optimized for the platform. So we have a landscape video, so we're going to tick off reels, okay, but we are going to keep on stories. And the reason for that is that when Meta sort of create the preview for this, essentially it will show the video and just below it will have the text for our advert. So it won't look too out of place, essentially. We'll keep that on. Feeds will keep on as well. In-stream is fine because, as I said, it's a video. We're not interrupting people to show them a static image. Search, we can also keep that on as well. That's fine. We're going to have messages ticked off, okay, because I don't think it's a relevant placement for this particular ad. In article, we could also have that on as well. But we're going to turn off audience network because we want to get people who are on either Instagram or Facebook, not beyond that, okay? We want to see how the social media networks work for us in terms of our ads. So we're then going to click more options, and we can go ahead and limit the devices and only when people are connected to Wi-Fi, etc. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to turn on only when connected to Wi-Fi because it's a 4K video. So if people aren't connected to Wi-Fi and the video is buffering, that's not going to be productive. It's going to be a waste of money. So people are only going to see this ad when they're connected to Wi-Fi. And again, we can tick off skippable ads are included. So we don't want skippable ads. We want people to see this and have to watch the entirety of the video. So they go from start to finish. And again, we don't waste money. If we wanted to, we could also block things from being shown or exclude things from being shown. That way we would kind of make sure that we don't show up for people who aren't sort of relevant, or for say certain topics that aren't relevant to what we're trying to target for. In this particular instance, we're just going to leave that blank, and we're now going to go to the ad level. So we've decided on what we're going to do in terms of our objective. We've defined our audience, and now we're creating the advert. So this advert is going to be one of two videos. So we're going to call this video 1, okay, and this is going to be a product shot video. So that's what we're going to call it, so we know what it is. We're going to select the page that we want to be targeting this campaign on, and that is Roasties. Okay, obviously their Instagram account is linked there as well. And now we create the advert. We're selecting manual upload, and it's a video. Okay, we now add the media. Now I have actually pre-uploaded ads already. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the product shot first, which is this one. Okay, and this is basically a standard video. If I play it for a second, you can see it's basically them creating the food. So this kind of rewinds really quickly, and then it goes from scratch. So kind of like, you know, those videos that you see online where people are showing you recipes and how to create food. So that's how we're going to do it for this. Now, we could then crop the placement so that it's as optimized as physically possible. In this particular instance, because there's text coming up at the end of the screen, so at the end of the video here, if we selected the ratio of 1:1, it's going to block out some of that text, so we're going to keep it original. Okay, but you're going to want to make sure that when you're uploading these things, they're optimized for the campaigns that you're running. But we're happy with that, so we'll select that. Next, we have the headline, okay, and that shows up just below the video, okay, under the link. So the headline can be something like mouth-watering loaded roast potatoes. You have a description which you can also add, which essentially will show just below this heading, and that will essentially be sort of the reason as to why people should click on the ad. We're not going to add a description. Instead, we're going to add the primary text, which is essentially the post that accompanies the ad. Okay, so we have something pre-written, so we're going to go ahead and paste that in there. And what you can see here on the side is it's actually showing me the placements where this isn't going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back onto the placements and remove this. So we have to remove Instagram Shop, the right column, and Facebook Groups feed. So if we go back there, so if we turn off right column, we turn off the Groups feed, and then we need to also turn off Instagram Shop. That was the one that also didn't show up there. We're going to go down, okay, and we need to paste the website field in which we want users to land on. So for them, the website is roasties.co.uk. We'll have that pasted in there. Okay, as you can see, that little error, that little warning has now disappeared. We can also make sure that the website events are tracking. So if you have a pixel set up, you can make sure that that's toggled on as well. As we had said, we're not going to run through how to do a pixel, but as you can see, this pixel is active, so we'll at least get some data pulled through from the website. Okay, so we need to change that from primary text there. Okay, so you can see this is the importance of making sure you set things up properly. You may not have noticed there, but essentially what I had done is I had pasted the primary text, so the post, in the description section. So that was wrong. Okay, so really important as well to double check and confirm that everything that you're uploading here is correct. Okay, but we're now happy with that. We can see on the preview here that it displays the primary text of the post, it displays the caption, the headline that we want, it displays the button we've selected, and also the video and the correct URL. So I'm happy with all that. It's tracking in the correct location as well. What we're then going to do is we're going to duplicate that, and the idea being that we're duplicating this so that we can test it against a different video. So rather than a product shot, this time we're going to upload a brand video. So this is more a video that kind of showcases you know, them actually working, them preparing the food, the actual location, etc. So it gives more context to who they are for people who don't know. So we'll delete that and we'll add media. Again, as I've said, I've uploaded this so we can select the Roasties promotional video. Okay, and this promotional video again is just basically a sort of minute long video, so it's roughly the same length, but it's completely different in its nature. Primary text remains the same, as does the headline. So I'm happy with all that. We've now got the 2 ads set up, and that was really quick to set up the second. So we can then go ahead and quickly duplicate the demographics as well. Now, the reason we're going to go ahead and do this is so we can then go ahead and test out a more targeted version of demographics. It does come up with a little warning here saying that it's recommended to combine the ad sets to get more results. However, we want to test how video 1 and 2, okay, perform in both ad set A and ad set B. So because they're different videos and then they're different targeting options, if we have 2 ad sets and then 2 ads that sit underneath each ad set, we're able to get that information. So now with the targeted ad set, we want to scroll down, and all we're going to edit is the audience section. So instead of having such a large radius, we're going to actually kind of put this all the way down to 17. Obviously you can see the audience size reduces, but that's okay. This is more targeted. So it's people who are much closer to the location, people who are much more likely to order their food. In terms of age, okay, they might have a depiction, say, of their ideal client is aged between 21 and 45 as an example. So we'll use that as the ages that we're selecting. All right, so as you can see there, we've now got a more defined age bracket. Genders we're going to keep the same, but also location is also more defined. The audience size is much smaller, but that's okay because, as I said, this is more targeted. Demographics wise, we're actually going to delete this, and we're going to try different demographics. So we're going to try targeting people who are interested in these third-party sites. So for example, Just Eat. Anyone who has an interest in Just Eat will see this ad. Okay, we could also select Uber Eats. Uber Eats, one word. Okay, we could also select another one. So I'm not sure if Deliveroo, for example, exists. No, but we've got delivery.com, so we can select that as well. As I said, the pool size is dramatically smaller. However, if we wanted it to be a little bit bigger, we could toy around with these settings a little bit more. So rather than, say, capping it at 45, let's cap it at 60, so it's between 21 and 60. Okay, and they're in that location. We've put 17 kilometers. We can increase this by a few more, say 20, right? Now we've got a pool size up to 10,000 people. It's people who match those interests and the demographics that we've set. So ideally, these are the people who are going to be making the purchases. But we may be surprised and find that our broader demographics actually perform better. So we'll test these against each other to see how they work. But I'm happy with that now. We've got 2 different types of demographics that we're testing, and we've got 2 different ads. So we're able to get quite a lot of information for £100. But now that we've got this all set up, what I would go ahead and do is just quickly have a look through everything. So just make sure you're happy and everything is right, because as I said, you don't want to be wasting money, and anything that's ticked incorrectly or not put in the right way, you could end up spending more money than you want to, or you could end up wasting the money that you've attributed to this particular campaign. So traffic is fine. We're not running an A and B test. We've set a lifetime budget. Ads are on a schedule. Okay, we've just run through the demographics here. I'm happy with that. The time in which it's running is fine as well, and they're running on a schedule. We have that here. Schedule's correct. Interest and everything here is correct as well. The placements are fine. Okay, now obviously the pool size here in comparison to the broad targeted is very, 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 very big. Okay, it's a very big difference. If you wanted to keep that more sort of fair, you could go ahead and also reduce this. So we'll reduce this to 20. As you can see, that's now halved the audience size. So I'm happy with that. I think that now the audience size is sort of more comparable to the other. So we're targeting essentially 10%, okay, of a bigger market, which makes sense. We're targeting a segment with our specific ad against our broader ad set, which is targeting everybody, okay? So exactly what we want, okay, and that's a more suitable size. It's 10% as opposed to 5%. So we'll keep it at 20 kilometers as opposed to 30. Everything else I'm happy with. Okay, placements and everything is fine. You can check here, double check that there's no sort of warnings here. But no, we're fine, and I have made sure that, you know, it's obviously in the right location, primary text, not description. Okay, description sits under the headline and it's kind of like a sentence long, doesn't show in all placements, so we're going to leave that blank. Happy with the button, happy with everything else that's selected. Okay, we're going to see what this little warning sign is here, if it tells us. Right now it's not, so what we're going to go ahead and do is now publish that. So hopefully you found this video useful and you now have a better understanding of how to set up a Facebook ad campaign. If you've enjoyed this video and it has been useful, make sure you leave a big thumbs up and leave a comment below with any issues that you may have or any questions that have arisen from the content that we've covered today. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you're looking to make improvements to your digital marketing efforts and you really want to take your business to the next level and you're willing to commit 100% financially, physically and mentally, then click that top link in the description where you can book your free initial consultancy call and we can discuss what you need to be doing to dominate online. Other than that, thank you very much for tuning in today and I'll see you very soon.